Why do you need a good music system? Because playing your favorite music through a good music system, it can refresh and mend your soul. It can rejuvenate you when you feel tired or when you feel lost. It can also bring back memories that you have forgotten and create new ones. Hi everyone, I'm Cece from Audio Excellence Canada. I have Adrian on my side. Today's video will continue our series of Audio 101 and combining all of the previous components. We will learn how to actually choose a system and customize a system for yourself. Isn't this exciting?
Not really, but that's okay.
Okay, so all things aside, we need to determine the requirements first. We have a list of requirements for those who want to start choosing a system. You could use it as a reference. So Adrian will go into the details.
Okay, so basically the title is How to Judge and Choose a System. I wrote this a few days ago and I've been really busy and I haven't taken a look through this, so please forgive me if I look at my notes. So, number one, determine your requirements. Number A, what source or sources you will need. We've covered this before in one of our earlier videos. B, are you using a receiver, integrated or separates? C, dynamic or planar speakers. D, space, your budget, the music that you usually play and how loud you like to play. And E, don't forget to budget for cables. Approximately 10 to 15% of your budget is a good range.
Again, you can watch our videos about sources, electronics, and speakers in our previous video. Jerry will have a link below. And when we have determined all of the requirements, the next thing would be finding a dealer who you trust, right?
Yeah, so it'll sound self-serving, but it's not. A really good dealer or somebody who's very experienced can be crucial to your purchase. And the reason is because if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of budget, then every cent will count. Having a really good dealer will help you to choose your system properly and make sure that you get the results that you want. So yes, absolutely, find a good dealer.
So when we approach the dealer, what questions should we ask? How should we talk to the dealer?
Good question. So here's a good hint coming from a person on the other side of it. It's really important that you tell your dealer very honestly that this is your first system or one of your very first systems, and this is your journey. You want to get the best, most satisfying result possible. Tell them your budget, tell them what you're looking for. And if you're very honest, the person will also typically be very excited to help you, because I can tell you from personal experience, it's really gratifying to meet with somebody new and want to help them along their journey. Jerry, for example, is monitoring the cameras and the audio right now. And we met Jerry years ago because he was here looking for a pair of headphones. And today he's got Macintosh MA352s at home with wonderful speakers and so on, all because he started from a very simple setup, and we were able to see him grow through his system. So absolutely, you do need to make sure that you talk to your dealer very honestly. The other thing also is be fair with the dealer. The dealer, in many cases, if he's been around a while, has also been burned where they've given a lot of advice and help and time, and then the potential customer then goes somewhere else and shops him and basically buys everything from an internet dealer who spent nothing and no time with you just to get the sale. So play nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's with finding a good dealer. And then when we have found a dealer, how should we choose exactly? What kind of sources should we start with? Because there are too many sources.
Right. So the question that you should ask yourself is, how do you want to play your music?
Right.
So as an example, if you enjoy choosing multiple pieces of music very quickly, then a streamer will be probably the choice. So in other words, you can pull up your phone or a tablet and just start typing your music and be able to play it right away. A streamer will be a really good choice. If, however, you want the best sound possible, a CD player or a turntable will probably give you a better result.
Right. I was going to ask the question, what component should we purchase first? Speakers or electronics or a streamer?
Well, if you don't have a system, then you probably need to buy everything at the same time. If you have an existing system, then that question gets a little bit more involved. Again, that's where a good dealer will be able to really help you, because it'll depend on where the weaknesses are in your system, what's missing, what don't you like about your system, and so on. Again, find a really good dealer.
So when we choose our products or our systems, do we choose all of the components at the same time, or we could actually, because we see a lot of clients, they want to upgrade and isn't necessarily to purchase all of these components at the same time.
So again, assuming that you want to buy a system, a complete system, start with the source in terms of what kind of source you need, whether it's a streamer, a turntable, or a CD player, or something along those lines. Once you've chosen your source or sources, the next thing to do is choose your speakers first before your electronics. This is key. The reason is actually quite technical and in some ways tactical as well. So as an example, let's say you have a small room. Then a floor standing speaker may not work as well as a bookshelf speaker. Again, your dealer can help you with that. The other reason is that speakers have something called impedance. If you look at the specifications of a speaker, it'll say 8 ohms, for example, or 6 ohms or 4 ohms. That tells you how difficult or how easy the speaker is to drive. The smaller the number, the more difficult it is. So a speaker that says 4 ohms, it's more difficult to drive it than a speaker that says 8 ohms. Now, so for example, let's say you bought a receiver where the specifications say 8 ohms, but you really like a speaker that is 4 ohms. Well, there's a good possibility that your receiver may not work all that well with the speaker that you like. So choose the speaker first and then look for electronics that will match with that speaker. So always choose the speaker first. The other thing also is that the speaker will also often cost significantly more than a lot of other items. It might be 30, 40, as much as 50% of your budget. So once you know what the speakers cost, then you might be able to find electronics that will match with the speaker that will cost within your budget. However, if the speakers that you really love takes up 50%, and you have no way of getting electronics that will match with that speaker, then you may have to choose different speakers. So some things to consider. Yeah.
I see. So after we have chose the system, we should test and listen to the setup, right?
Yes.
So when we listen to it, what should we listen for? How would we determine if the system is good or bad?
Yeah, so very good question. In the next video that we will do, I will actually demonstrate to both CC and Tristan what I would do if I were the dealer, and then hopefully that will help you as well. But just for now, basically there's the left brain and right brain part of you as a human being. So let's talk about the left brain first. Left brain stuff would be like the audiophile terms. If you've been watching some of our videos, you will have heard some of the terms. So ask your dealer to play you some of his favorite tracks and use those tracks to demonstrate the things that he wants you to hear. So for example, he should play you a recording that has great bass and show you that the speaker or that system can do great bass. Then he might be able to play the next cut that might do things like imaging, where the vocal is right in the center. Listen for that. If it doesn't sound like it's there, then ask him to try another track or try a different system. That's how you can tell. Or something that has really big soundstage, so that the sound seems to come from where the speakers are, from left to right, and maybe even wider than that. Or depth. Be able to distinctly hear a concert where people in the back or the performers in the back are clearly audible to you. You want to be able to hear a lot of details. So somebody's playing a guitar, you can hear the fingering on the fret. Again, this is left brain. Then there's the right brain. If it can do
music lover like
that's
me.
right, exactly, like Cece. So let's say it does all that kind of stuff. Now you ask him to play music that is compelling, good music, good musicianship, inspired by great songs, with great songs. And if that song doesn't appeal to you or doesn't do anything for you and so on, then maybe that system is not all that musical. You might want to find something that appeals more to you. And of course, you want to also, after that, play your own music. That's very, very important.
Like what I do, I play my
that's right.
own music. If I enjoy it, I will get emotional, get attachment.
Yeah, ultimately, you're buying your system to be able to play your music, not just audio spectacular. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So anything else that you would suggest us to discuss with the dealer?
Yeah, I have three final points. Number one, ask your dealer to show you what would he recommend as the next step up. So let's say you're very happy with the system. Ask him, what would you do next? If and when I have more money, what would I do to upgrade the system? He should be able to show you the next path up. Now, here's the interesting thing. If the next path up, let's say it's a streamer. You have a streamer and it's $1,000, let's say. And let's say he shows you the next level up, which is, let's say, $1,300. And let's say you really like that $1,300 unit and it's only $300 more, and you think that it's worth the time and the effort to just spend the $300 more now, I would recommend you do it now, because if you buy the $1,000 unit now and then 6 months from now you decide you want the $1,300 unit, you will lose money trading it in or selling it in the used market. Whereas if you were to just spend the $1,300 now, you would just enjoy it for much longer. So that's one thing to look at. The other option, number two, is you can consider used equipment as well, pre-owned equipment. Sometimes you can get incredibly good deals buying used equipment. There are caveats. If you search in our YouTube channel, you will find us talking about used equipment, the pros and cons. You can get some great deals. You can also get burned, so be very careful. The other thing also is that with used equipment, it may not match in your system. So let's say you buy a superb speaker for much less than you normally would pay for, but your electronics don't work all that well with it. Now you may have an imbalance, and the end result may in fact be less satisfying than if you were to buy a good balanced system. Now, if you're buying long-term and you know that long-term you're going to end up here instead of here, then for the short term it might be okay. Again, that's something that you have to think about. And then the third thing, of course, is ask the dealer if he has a trade-in program. If he's got a trade-in program, ask for the details. And this way, you can be aware of whether or not you want to plan for the next purchase. So something along those lines. Those would be the points I would suggest.
Okay, that's great. All right, so that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching and staying in our Audio 101. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.